So
Got it. Okay.
all right.
What is up, everyone? This is Press X to Ramble. Press X to Ramble is a place where we get to talk about pretty much anything we want. And today we're rambling about Wandavision.
Woo!
I am your host, technically, DJ, aka. Oh my god, that was weird. AKA Sexy Bad Choices.
I am Marcus, aka Turtleneck Vision, aka Vishon. I'm here to ruin your family.
I am the actual Sean MF Ross.
What the MF stand for?
Missile Force.
Missile Force. Okay.
And I am Jordan, aka JXBot, aka Jordan the Guardian, aka formerly Jordan 47, formerly Slayer, and now Jordan the Ultimate Police Pursuer. We'll see what happens next. What other games I'm playing? I don't know.
Okay. He had the whole rundown ready to go.
Lord. All right.
I didn't even come up with a did you know this is a podcast? I mean, actually, did you know that we at Press X to Start has been nominated in DC WebFest 9, that's DC WebFest 2021 for the podcast category. Let's go.
Bullet.
Wait.
Good.
No, we got nominated for expression in art or something. I don't know if we got nominated in podcasts. I don't even know if they have a podcast section this time, but we got nominated for expression in art. So we up against like short films and web series and whatnot.
Did you know?
All right, so we might be using that meme for the third place podium then.
Right.
We might get that. We might do the back-to-back bronzes.
Alexa, play Drake back to back.
With that being said, and the first laugh of the night out of the way, let's start with WandaVision. And what was everyone's best moments? Someone else goes first because I got a frog in my throat.
All right.
I would say when Monica Rambeau did her superhero landing. I was like, yeah, bitch, I can do this too.
I love that that Monica got her powers in the middle of Black History Month. That's just beautiful.
She's the only one who got powers. You remember, we were all supposed to get powers a couple weeks back.
That's true.
We need to figure out what she did exactly.
All you got to do is go back and forth a couple of times through a hex universe that is overflowing with chaos magic, and then
big method. I mean, you got a hypothesis, you got the experiment, your conclusion.
I think you could sum it down to a bit. Yeah, I think you can refine that bit more. You can basically just hang out with the white woman.
No,
as someone who has hung out with white women before, it has never given me superpowers.
But you are an actor.
Since when is that a superpower?
Whatever.
Make a point. Like my favorite moment, I think the Monica Rambeau moments were pretty dope. When Pietro became Quicksilver of the Fox universe, I think that the payoff from the moment was pretty low, but it spurring the conspiracy within the nerd community was fairly fascinating. Like, was this going to be a precursor for a formal introduction of the mutants? But no. But it was still like I haven't had a visceral like holy Christ type moment,
right?
Since then within the series. I mean, we all knew what Spectrum's power, or she might come up as Spectrum. What
She's got several names in the MC or in the Marvel comics, so I don't know which one they're gonna land on.
Yeah, we were fairly cognizant of what her powers were. So seeing like what does that look like in live action is what we kind of saw. One of her powers.
I hope her name is Rambo. I hope she would say I'm Rambo. That's it.
Well, it's like Rambeau. It's like French or something.
Oh, excuse me, my ignorant self. My favorite moment was actually all these. At first, it was when Monica first got her powers and how she got her powers and how she was like split between the different time periods, and then she like pulled herself together.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
And then like I literally jumped out of my seat to the point where my wife was just like, what are you doing? I was like, that's the Pedro from the X-Men universe. Like, they're doing the multiverse right now. Oh my god.
Did you jump up like Leonardo DiCaprio? Like,
Festo.
Meanwhile, Marvel Kevin Feige on the other side laughing at you like that one meme, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Django.
Right. But then but then like I actually kind of settled on my favorite moment of the entire series was the not the battle, but the actual conversation between Vision and White Vision.
That was hot.
Yeah, like that. I literally paused it and I looked at my wife and I was like, this is the writing that I'm talking about when I'm so critical about things and like how I want something to be smart. That is exactly what I love seeing, where it's just like, these are two supercomputers fighting. Why are they fighting? Just have a conversation. Like that's how they do it. And they did it. And it was just like, yes.
Vision should have, or the Vision and Wanda's head should have been like, what's 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1?
2 plus 2 is 4 minus 1. That's 3 quick maps. And then White Vision's head explodes.
But you're right. I mean, a lesser writer totally would have had Vision of Wanda's mind kill the hell out of White Vision, and that would have been it. Like
right.
Apart. But clearly, this just shows the expertise of Feige and their crew, and we'll probably see Vision sometime later down the line.
I saw no point of it at first. It looked like two Supermen fighting each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, I am in agreement with all of those. The Monica Rambeau moments were great. The ship of thesis argument or debate between Vision and White Vision was phenomenal. That's probably my favorite moment. But I also want to name drop. I loved the Wanda, This Is Your Life stuff that Agatha was doing with her.
Yeah,
I thought that was fantastic. And I thought that was also an amazing moment because of how fantastic Elizabeth Olsen was in that episode. I mean, she was fantastic the entire series, but in that episode, they asked her to do a whole lot, and she killed it. So, yeah, that's probably one of my favorite moments, too. But I could honestly, like, ream off moments from this show that could easily be my favorite. But those are, like, the ship of thesis debate and then Wanda, This Is Your Life are probably my 2 favorites.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, before we continue on our well-structured cast, what do you guys think actually happened to Vision? White Vision. Gotta be clear. White Vision.
I
hate that his name is White Vision. Like,
I mean, Wanda's gonna mess around with Sorcerer Supreme. Your boy Doctor Strange, and Vision's gonna come out of nowhere with the assist. It's
with the assist on whose side?
Whatever on Wanda's side.
Oh, okay.
I think Vision just wanted to take himself out of the equation. There's nothing more that he could have done to change Wanda's trajectory, which was smart. And yeah, he'll just come back later on, saying, "Oh, Wanda, watch out for that fish."
I think White Vision actually got flustered. I feel like he got hit with a lot at one time, and I feel like right now, kind of like how Wanda is, which we'll get to later, but kind of like how Wanda's off on her own island. I think he's off on his own, and I think that he's figuring some things out and kind of coming to terms with things. I think what's going to stop him from coming back sooner, though, is that, as we know, they're doing an Armor War show about what's his name? Rhodey or War Machine, kind of dealing with Stark Tech out in the wild. And you know what Stark Tech? Vision is Stark Tech. And so I have a feeling that they're going to intercept with each other at some point, and that's going to keep White Vision from getting back into the fray sooner.
So in terms of the chronological order of things going forward, Doctor Strange Madness,
Multiverse of Madness,
will be coming out before Armor Wars. Is that the timeline?
Yeah, I think it is. But I'll say that the pandemic in more ways than one, screwed over the MCU because in the original timeline,
Black Widow.
When WandaVision ended, a week later, Doctor Strange 2 was supposed to come out. So we wouldn't have had to wait to see the conclusion of Wanda's arc for right now. But because of the pandemic, now we have to wait a whole year to see that conclusion.
Screw all this. Just give me the Midnight Suns. Give me Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Mr. Voodoo, and Blade.
We gonna get there. We gonna get
Midnight Suns.
I think it's gonna happen. But what do you think, Sean or DJ? What you think?
What, White Vision?
Yeah.
Man, he might just. I mean, what does he have to think about? He knows everything. What
well, yeah,
really
but
Wanda?
I think they've made a point of saying that like while yes he is a supercomputer, he's also
faulty,
a rung below human. So like he feels like he's aware of feelings, and maybe he's just going through what is it, crisis of conscience, or
it's just emotions taking me. All right. I apologize.
So I actually have a very different take. I feel like when he left, it was more purpose driven, and for me, because that entire scene, I was like listening because the whole ship of Theseus. Yeah, like
ship
that whole
thesis. Yeah.
Okay. So like that had me like really like thinking like, okay, what's going on? And then when he left, in my mind, I thought, okay, his main purpose was to come here and destroy the Vision, right? Because he is a robot built by Sword, and he's considered Sword tech. So in my mind, I thought, okay, he just got his memory back of what happened to the old Vision, but he also understands that he's still property of Sword. So I think he went back to Sword to do whatever he has to do to make sure.
Go do a debrief.
Not even a debrief, but just make sure he can't be controlled by them. So he might be like fucking up Sword. He might be like just going into the Sword and like making sure that they can't control him or find him, and then he can go off and do whatever he wants to do.
Part of me wishes that we did say this at the end when we talked about Scarlet Witch's next step. Because I like there's something I was going to bring up that was going to be more associated with Scarlet Witch.
I mean, we can talk about it. It doesn't matter. Like,
okay, no, yeah, I thought we were going to do like favorite episodes and stuff like that.
This is our podcast.
Exactly.
We can do it whatever we want.
No one can tell us what to do except for us. And
Sean, did you have an opinion on Vision and its future steps?
You said on
Vision.
Nah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think that, the way that Marvel has been doing it so far is characters come out of nowhere. Like right when you need them at the protagonist of that story's most distressing moment. I mean, I totally understand the Armor Wars take on things, and I think that the smaller screen is going to flesh out Sword more so than the bigger screen. But at the same time, it's like, like Wanda, I now love you even more. Just watch out for that fish.
Their intent was to kind of get you hooked on Disney Plus, so it's going to intermesh the TV shows and the movies more so than it did like when what the fuck is it?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Everything. What's the black dude?
Luke Cage. Oh, the Netflix stuff.
Yeah. None of that. It was MCU, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Well, yeah. The biggest thing that they were doing at that time was kind of playing around with kind of things kind of existing adjacent to each other. Now, though, that they have Disney Plus, and also that they have access to, I think, about 99% of their original characters. Now I feel like they're interconnected in a way that they probably always wanted to be, but couldn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything going forward, for the most part, I think is going to just be connected to each other in some way, shape, or form. Every one of the Disney Plus shows are going to factor into the movies in some way, and same with the movies factoring into the shows. Everything's going to affect one another at this point.
Yeah, I think they just don't have Spider-Man completely and Hulk. Like the Hulk can't have his own solo movies.
Yeah, they don't have Spider-Man fully, they don't have the Hulk fully, and they don't have Namor fully, I don't think. But everybody else they have, I think, I'm pretty sure.
The whole Netflix Marvel thing is basically, and I'm glad they did that. Although I did like Jessica Jones.
I think they're gonna
Daredevil.
reboot it and bring her back. They're gonna bring all of those back except for the Fist.
Yeah, they're not. No, they're
they're
from as far as the rumors go. I'm pretty sure they're bringing back Charlie Cox's Daredevil. I think they're bringing back John Bernthal's Punisher. I think they're bringing back Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones. They're up in the air on Luke Cage, and I think they're doing a full-on rebrand of Iron Fist.
What they said about Luke Cage was he has I think he has 2 or 3 other projects that are somewhat successful. Michael Coulter.
Michael Coulter. Yeah.
Remember, he was also I don't know, because remember, speaking of failed attempts, that first Halo show, Nightfall or whatever.
Oh,
he was on there.
Oh, he was on that.
He was. It was trash garbo. But no, he has other like that's, even though
he has a show on network television right now, actually.
Yeah,
so
it's doing pretty well. But in terms the first season Luke Cage was strong. The second season, I don't know what the fuck they were doing, and his acting's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, him as Luke Cage. I think he
looks like Luke Cage.
Yeah, he pulls off the look for sure, but I feel like he's a little too. Luke Cage is an old head, but he was never
It got cringy.
Yeah. I feel
follow me on Facebook, punk. I'm like, what? Ew.
Mike doesn't have the swagger to me to pull off Luke Cage properly. You know, I remember when he said nigga in an episode, and it felt so weird. I was like, oh.
I don't even remember he said that.
He was like, pull the trigger, nigga. And I'm like, what the?
Wow. They let that fly?
Hey, he hadn't been practicing it in the backyard.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, you know what? The brightest moment was when they same thing as WandaVision, when they had her original tire.
That's another moment I wanted to bring up, and I completely forgot. That's another fantastic moment.
Both versions, the '90s version and I'm like, yo.
We'll get to the '90s version when we talk about episodes. But
I know.
When she pulled up at the end with the full out Scarlet Witch outfit, I was like, "This is fire!"
Yeah,
that outfit was translated so well.
Yeah.
They've had over the years, they've had so many different outfit changes and so many different outfits for these characters, and some of them have been trash. Avengers 1 Captain America. but this one, one of the best ones they've ever done. I
agree.
Kudos to the costume designer.
Yeah.
Speaking
of episodes, Marcus, what's your favorite episode?
My favorite episode was, I was between like I said earlier, the Agatha, Wanda, This Is Your Life, and the Halloween episode. But I think I'm more on the Halloween episode. I think that episode was it did such a good job of taking that sort of dread and confusion that we had in the first few episodes, where we're like, what's going on here? Something feels off.
Yeah.
And really making it plain that Wanda is controlling things, while still kind of having that little bit of, but is she though? But having Vision go on his detective work and see okay, the further the further I get away from Wanda, how much of this is she actually controlling? And then you get to see those people out there, not fully doing their animations and everything.
Like a video game.
Right, exactly.
Much, yeah.
And then also the way that
Cyberpunk.
yes. And also the way that it kind of overcorrected, in the episode before, she was talking about when Vision confronted her and was like, why are there no kids? And then we see kids all throughout the Halloween episode, just how little things started to add up
I'm the Batman.
Along with
Well,
the
I
Easter
don't
eggs.
think that was because of him. I think she just released them because apparently they were just in their rooms locked away.
No, but no, she was lying. Like she was gaslighting people for like the first few episodes because I think she was, even though she didn't want to believe that she was like in the wrong here, she was fully on in this thing. And when he confronted her about it, she was like, "Oh, I gotta."
It seemed like her subconscious was.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah.
It was.
World.
I think what happened was actually
Her
2
pain
points.
and anger.
First point is I think, when it came to Wanda controlling the town, I think it was very much so like Wanda was a separate entity, and her power was, aka her subconscious, was controlling.
Right.
Where that way she was able to operate in her own, while her power
Mhm.
was making sure everything was in place. Just like how we saw in the end when
Yep.
it was actually like Scarlet Witch that was reading the book and wanted to just drinking some tea or whatever.
Exactly.
Point 2, and I think I may have forgot what point 2 was. So continue, and I will go back.
Basically, I loved all that, and then also just like the Easter eggs in the '90s episode were so strong in terms of like the original Quicksilver comic outfit.
I got my point 2. Point 2 was about the children. I think there was 2 sides to it. The one side was when Vision called out like where the children was, and I think in Wanda's subconscious it made sense that there wasn't any children up until that point because she was going through the different decades and like the old late night shows. There wasn't children.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And it was just up until that point where it's just like, okay, now children.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Because it also does work. Because that's one of the brilliant things of like the crafting of at least the first portion of the show is that they were going through those decades. And so there is a case to be made that like because of the time period, there wouldn't be a bunch of kids. But also they instinctively put the episode right after she got confronted about there being a lack of kids and other things not adding up. They instinctively put that next episode full of kids.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, great Easter eggs in that episode as well. And then also, I love just the way that they use the Malcolm in the Middle format for that episode. Yeah, I think that was my favorite. But there's a bunch of great episodes. But what about you guys?
Let's go next. Who's next?
No, I'm in total agreement with Marcus. He hit the right points in regards to the Halloween episode because I was a huge fan of Malcolm in the Middle. I still remember the final episode of Malcolm in the Middle almost verbatim when it came out.
Oh wow!
And like that kind of really poked at my, 90s
nostalgia.
Yeah, like I think out of all of them, it poked at that pretty effectively. The episode after that kind of went to like the Office style format of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Cute. And like it just seemed like the creators were able to take a somewhat one-dimensional story, being Scarlet Witch's guilt and pain, like Wanda's guilt and pain in regards to the loss of Vision and her inability to, bring them back and actually have a pretty fun way of expressing her layers of like denial, acceptance, grief into each episode. And that episode, I believe the Halloween episode was more towards, it was quasi acceptance in a way. I think. I'm more like, no, she did like put Pietro like through a fucking wall. That did have an oh shit moment when Pietro was like, that would be the first person that you killed or some shit like that. God damn, Pietro.
But even on top of that, like when they did the and I absolutely love it, but like the quote unquote jump scare where he was like dead Pietro, and it's just like the fuck, and it's like, oh my, like she reacted in a way is just like this is wrong. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I like that Office episode. I had to sit there and think about it as you guys were talking, but I like some of the just strange jokes they had, like
the cutaways.
Darcy and Vision were sitting in the truck, and like they just kept on getting interrupted, and he's like,
"That's how."
Why the fuck am I talking to y'all? Why am I sitting here talking to y'all?" And he just flew away. Like,
That's exactly how those 2000 shows were. Like,
yeah, it was like
years
the
of
Office,
barriers.
Office, Modern Family style. Yeah,
I didn't watch either. Had no
Really?
interest. I had no interest in it. Mm-mm.
You're not missing anything.
And I think was that the same episode that Monica tried to drive the truck through the hex.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just found that hilarious that like she was trying to gun it and force it in, and that shit she had to bail, and that shit flew like.
It cracked me up when they shot the truck back, and the first part of the truck was like a old pickup truck.
It was like a Chevy Tacoma or something like that. 2002 Tacoma.
I do like that little tease they made. Like they were teases all throughout the series, though. Like of course, people thought it was gonna be was it Mr. Fantastic? I don't know his full name.
Yeah.
Reed
Richards. Physicist. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, shut up.
I don't know why they thought that. I mean, no, I get why they thought that. I get why people thought that because at this point, especially now that Marvel has access to
everything,
like yeah, I get why they thought that could be a surprise, especially after what happened with Quicksilver, that giant bomb.
Well, also the Mandalorian when Luke came out of nowhere.
Yeah, right.
People are still trying to expect like that big.
Right. But I think that like you got to sort of manage your expectations with some of this stuff, you know, because they just announced like late last year they just announced that we're getting a Fantastic Four movie. So like,
Comic-Con. Or no,
right? No, it was the Disney investors meeting or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And so like there was no way we were gonna get Reed Richards like this soon,
that quickly,
you know. But
the thing comes out of nowhere and throws a truck through the thing. I'm fine with that storyline too.
Yeah. What about you, DJ? What was your favorite episode?
So it's interesting because I also really loved the Halloween episode, and I thought like if you wanted to, if someone who had no idea what WandaVision was about, and you wanted to give them an episode that kind of gives them an idea of like what this whole thing is about, I think the Halloween episode does that. But I'm gonna have to give it to the final episode, only because I feel like there was a lot of payoffs, and I really liked how it ended, even though it was the whole balance of okay, I have this hype and these theories and stuff that I want to be true, like Pedro, I wanted him to be a more significant factor in this thing, and it just wasn't. But it was just like I really like what they gave me, and I really appreciated the, I guess, climaxes of both fights between Vision and Agatha and Wanda, especially the Wanda fight where when she at the end where she was like, yeah, you can have my power, and she started throwing shots.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Great shots. And I'm just like, in my mind, I was thinking like, all right, well, she has to be planning something. Like, what is it? I thought she was throwing stray shots to like create like a feud or something so the kids and Vision can like get out or whatever. But then
I thought she was trying to overload her.
That's what I thought too at first. But then when she started doing the stray shots consistently, and I was like, okay, no, she's clearly thinking of something else. But then just to have it end like that, where she has like the runes around her, just like fucking yes, that is perfect. That's awesome.
By the way, in the beginning of the episode, they showed us the runes, like in like the previous episodes thing. The first thing they showed us was the runes, so they gave us a little hint.
Absolutely love it.
I actually think the last episode also is like it's the most Marvel movie that the show ever got. I think that they definitely saved the last episode for like, okay, now we're officially Marvel movie territory. Most of the stuff we got up until that point was very distinct, like very unlike a lot of what we've ever gotten in the MCU before. And then they saved for the final episode, oh, we're full Marvel movie territory now.
No, we still got it.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised with the series just overall, because when they first announced WandaVision, I was like, I'm not fucking watching this shit. I'm not getting Disney Plus to watch no damn Disney shows, no Marvel shows. And now I am looking, pleasantly anticipating, I think
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
that
Falcon
comes
Winter
out what,
Soldier.
in
Yep.
2 weeks or so.
No, this
It's
weekend,
Next week.
the 14th.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was later.
Nope.
And then we got Hawkeye coming out and
Miss
Loki?
Marvel, Loki. Yep.
Yeah, Loki.
So I mean, I can't wait. I'm actually anticipating these. Before I was like, I'm not getting no goddamn Disney Plus to watch this bullshit. I just watch the movies. I catch that shit on the Fire Stick. Nah, they actually surprised me with the quality of the show.
No, it's March 19th.
Oh, 19th. Okay, so they're doing it's still Friday. Okay, gotcha.
Even that's a lot closer than what I saw. Like April something. I would have been.
Man, they gotta make that money. They gotta make that movie money, dog. They're trying to get these shows as fast as possible.
What's exciting for me about WandaVision and the prospect of going forward, or the shows going forward, is the fact that this officially signifies that they are taking this very seriously. Not that I ever really had any doubt, but like the fact that the production value that's going into these shows, they're like watching mini movies. And
they got that money for it, though.
Yeah, right. They said they shot Falcon and Winter Soldier like a movie.
And I think that's extremely exciting, because even though television has gotten more cinematic over the years, there's still usually somewhat, at least in most television, there's somewhat of a clear line of this is television and this is movies. But like with the Disney Plus, the Mandalorian, and now these Marvel Disney Plus shows, we're really getting some super cinematic television that can easily slide into, okay, I just watched WandaVision, now I'm going to watch, Doctor Strange 2, and the production value has not dipped at all. It's actually seamless transition in because of how high the production value is on the television show. So I think that's really, really exciting.
Like I have a hunch that WandaVision, of course, because like they had to switch up their schedule, or whatever. But like I think a lot of people were kind of turned off by what WandaVision was at first, but then seeing how well it ended and how well it's gonna like mesh into everything else going forward, a lot of people are gonna go back and watch it and get a new appreciation for what they actually did and accomplished with this.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that they accomplished with this, what did y'all think of the Agatha reveal?
I was expecting it. I mean, only because after each episode and like after each movie and episode and like stuff that me and my wife watch, we like to watch explainer videos for stuff that we just didn't catch on, because there are super fans out there that'll just catch every little Easter egg and tidbit.
25 things that you missed from this 30-second teaser.
Right.
Yeah, like, people will do a freeze frame and analyze frame by frame things that you didn't catch. And
wait, the gray hand, when that was like one of the things that people were like alluding to when Pietro...
Are you talking about when when he first came, they thought it was Mephisto's hand?
Yeah,
like,
and I'm like,
some
how the fuck, like
Dick Tracy
what?
PI Magnum PI SOBs.
No, there was little things that made me think Mephisto was on the way. Like there was this weird pattern that looked like the devil, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait and see.
So yeah, people had pointed out that it's more likely going to be Agatha Harkness. So I mean, I was expecting it. It was, like she said, nice to finally meet you. I was just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
I was kind of blind to the. I made sure to blind myself to the takes, because nerds are pretty smart, and like those comic book heavy nerds would have most likely spoiled the big reveal at episode 3.
Right.
So like I did not know it was Agatha, nor do I knew of the character Agatha until that moment. And I was like, oh, okay, well this is, I mean, like I think that's how Kevin Feige would have wanted design wise, like someone that was like this offshoot character of very limited and specific history be introduced in this way. And I am interested to see how her character develops over the course of Scarlet Witch's
I think apparently in the comic book she's kind of her mentor, so I mean I guess that was come to an understanding.
That was one thing I wanted to bring up is I knew it was coming. I was curious to see when they would pull the trigger on it, because like Agnes was always that one character in the grand scheme of things that felt the most off. So I was like, something tells me that she's like more in on this than she lets on. So when they pulled the trigger on it, people were like, that's a disappointing twist. We all knew. And I'm like, I don't think it was supposed to kind of
be a mind-blowing reveal.
Yeah, exactly.
The clues are always there.
Exactly. That song slapped though. But so when it happened, I was like, okay, this is a dope reveal. But I was wondering if they were going to make her full-on villainous, because in the comic books, like you said, she wasn't a villain. She was her mentor for the most part. And so I was like, okay, the MCU has been known to remix things in the comic book, so maybe they just decided to use her as a villain here. And I was concerned that they were going to kill her. I was hoping she wouldn't get killed, because Catherine Hahn, who plays Agatha and Agnes, was fantastic. But I was like, she might get got. And when they resolved it with, Wanda being like, nah, I'm going to keep you here to keep playing this role. And then Agatha,
I need you.
Right. And then Agatha was like, you're going to need me because you don't know what you just unleashed. I was like, oh, they got to have their cake and eat it too, with her kind of playing up the villain part, but she can slide into that mentor role as time progresses. I'm with it.
Yeah, I mean, like for some reason, part of me thought that Agnes was going to be like a sword agent that got kind of stuck in there by accident. Her and the black dude were like undercover sword agents. So for the longest amount of time, I was like, those sword agents, they're going to mess around and fuck up really badly and make things be more climactic than they already are. But, like it was kind of on the nose that Agnes was more cognizant of what was actually going on than she was letting.
Yeah, like I definitely had the same vibes as Jordan, where I thought like Agnes and the black guy were the sword agents, and
because they said that the sword that there were two sword agents that got caught up in there.
Right. But then my mind changed, because I, like Sean, watched a like explainer video, and in the video they said that like in the wall where it had like they were identifying people, Agatha was the only person that they had no information on. So I was like, that's interesting. And then in that video they were like, she could actually be Agatha Harkness or whatever her name is, and it was like, oh, I have no idea who this person is. So I did my research and was like, oh, this person's actually really vital to Scarlet Witch. Oh my god.
There you go.
Yeah, but like even though it was called out and there was hints all throughout the entire series to get to the reveal, I really, really loved the ride to get to that point. I think there is something to be said for carefully planning out hints and dropping hints to get to that point where it's like, oh, it's that person that you thought it was, versus they do that and it's like, oh, it's actually Pietro. He's actually Agatha Harkness. And like, I feel like that's kind of bullshit. Like I really like the fact that they made this intentional, and
Pietro was Mephisto all along.
Right. Like I really liked her reveal and how they actually worked it out.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of other reveals, though, what did you guys think of the reveal of who Pietro actually was?
Upsetting.
That for me, that was the weakest point of the entire show. It like, there's a lot I can say, but I'm not.
Like, if we're gonna have X-Men again, that means they're gonna cast this dude 3 times. There's gonna be a third one.
I don't think I mean, I think they could, like, if it ends up where like Multiverse of Madness, where Scarlet's like, all right, we have mutants or whatever, and he like kind of gets Quicksilver powers, that could be a case. But I feel like they're just gonna hire people, like hire just new cast for everyone.
That's what I mean. They're gonna cast him a third time.
Well, we might not get another Quicksilver.
I don't think he's gonna be there. Is what I'm saying. Like, I think he's just that was his role for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I think, I'm in agreement. That was the most disappointing part of the show, because to me, they knew what they were doing when they cast Evan Peters specifically for this part. They knew that they were going to get people like speculating, and they knew the type of reaction they were going to get. Like, seeing Evan Peters pop up at that door was like, oh my God, multiverse right now, we're doing it. And then I know for a fact, when Agatha got revealed and it was revealed that she was the one that was manipulating Pietro and everything, I was like, okay, so did she rip him from another universe to get like what's going on here? And to find out that he was just an actor, and also the fact that this whole entire time she was talking about her husband Ralph, who we never saw. So I was like, maybe Ralph is Mephisto, or maybe Ralph is somebody, I don't know. And then to find out that this is Ralph, and I was like, man, what? I was so mad. It didn't ruin the entire finale for me, but that part, I was like, yo, man, y'all some Bamas for this.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to the whole Agatha reveal, how that was done so well, and there was hints dropped all throughout. I feel like the Pietro thing was set up in the same way, but it was to the opposite end of like, no, you people, you fanboys, you're not going to get this one. You're not going to get this one.
Yeah.
It's actually not.
We told you to stop speculating. Now look what you got.
Exactly right.
Like I would have appreciated, or I would have accepted way more if like it turned out that fake Pietro was just a figment of Agatha's magic. Like it would have still been disappointing, but I'd have been like, you know what? Okay, fine. At least we got that. Finding out that he was an actor, that was probably the worst possible outcome.
Yeah, because that just means that he just existed in that world just
to lead up to a boner joke.
Yeah. But even like
jokes.
Apparently Ralph Boner is the name of one of the like a character in one of the like TV shows or whatever, and I don't know. So that's where that name came from. Like that was like a inside joke for people who had to watch that show.
To quote King T'Challa, I don't care.
Did you guys know that the mom from That 70s Show had multiple appearances?
Oh yeah.
That was cool too.
The moment she showed up the first time, I think in episode 2, I was like, "Oh, hey!"
Kitty.
I was expecting Kitty. It was I was expecting Red Foreman to show up and start calling people dumbasses.
All right, so what y'all think about Monica?
She's great.
We've been bigging her up from the jump. Monica's great with her natural hair and her thick thighs. Lord,
I was very much so watching the show like, there's a lot of white people in here. You kind of need some representation. And when she showed up, I was like, all right, I'm good, thank you.
I mean, like it's body positivity too. It's like she you know, like she
body and hair. Like we don't see a lot of people with a lot of black people with natural hair on screen.
Right.
Body, yaddy.
They are trying to be as cognizant as they can be when it comes to representation in these, TV shows. You know, like she's a full-figure black woman, and that's like very hard to find in the superhero space. The superhero space, like not just a regular TV space, but the superhero space. And I'm just very interested to see how her powers continue to progress as time goes on. Yeah, because she can mess around and cause a lot of chaos, because of her powers, like controlling all forms of energy. I mean, who's to say in the MCU that she can't manipulate the energy of an Infinity Stone?
Well, I've watched a bunch more explainer videos, and she is pretty damn powerful, damn near on the level of Captain Marvel and like Omega level mutants, etc., etc. So we'll see. Maybe she'll be in Captain Marvel 2 or some shit.
No, she's definitely in Captain Marvel 2. She's in Captain Marvel 2, and Miss Marvel's in Captain Marvel 2. But I think it's interesting because at the end, the mid-credit teaser that we got for the finale, she got called up to space by Nick Fury when they sent that scroll. And so she's going to show up, I believe, in the Secret Invasion show. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Monica Rambeau going forward.
My headcanon was when she pointed up, the camera pans up to a guy on an organ, like Phantom of the Opera style, going, "Yes, Monica, you will join me." I'm like, yeah. Phantom of the Opera.
Hey, look up. We can see your dick. Put some underwear on.
It was me, Mephisto.
It was the Phantom of the Opera that's the most powerful Avenger.
There you go. I I really liked her introduction. I liked
yeah.
I liked when she got her powers. I thought that was, as I said earlier in the cast, that was really cool.
Honestly, one of the best power achieving
Yes.
Intro.
I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, they've kind of ironed out their formula as to how they want to do things at this point.
Right.
And the CGI and technology has caught up with their vision. Go back and look at some of the earliest. Go back and look at some of the earlier Marvel movies, and you're just like,
Yeah.
Like I just watched the first Thor the other day.
What was it? So Captain America's like just put in case, comes out super strong. Hulk fucking, seizure warning for Hulk's transformation. What's that? Thor already has his shit. Iron Man, his was longer. His was more comedic.
Yeah.
Him testing out the boost, but this one right here is possibly one of the more grandiose ones.
Well, we also have Black Panther, where he just pulled up and he was just like, I got this. I've been doing this for a long time.
He just drank a plant. He just drank a plant, and he's like, Black Panther, good job.
We will now strip the strength of the Black Panther.
The strength of the Black Panther is stripped away.
So
how does that work? It's like they just give him like some laxative.
One thing that I want to bring up about Monica is the way that they introed her into the show officially with the what we see post the snap, people coming back.
That was dope.
That was fantastic. That's another moment that I just completely forgot to bring up, but that moment was amazing, and it completely.
That was the first scene, right? If I'm not mistaken.
The first scene of episode 4, and
okay.
The way that counterbalanced, because a lot of people were kind of upset with the way they handled the people coming back from the snap in Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah. And it didn't bother me because you're watching this through the lens of teenagers putting on a high school news show. So, of course, it's going to be jokey.
They don't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah, right.
It was pretty funny, though, when
it was hilarious.
The band came in the field during the basketball game.
And they had like the Comic Sans like memorial to all the people that were lost. Like, I thought that was funny, but I understand why people were upset. But this was a perfect counterbalance to that, because that looked horrifying, and they picked the perfect place, a hospital where people are just confused and don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah. I thought that was a fantastic moment to intro Monica back into the proceedings of the MCU and like really start her off with because I'd like to think that the snap kind of jump started her powers. Like maybe she already I think no. I mean, I think that the hex stuff, like, definitely made sure that the powers awakened. But I have this running theory that could be wrong, that the snap and just like the quantum realm stuff, like,
it's giving people powers.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Because I think that's how we get. I would be surprised if that's how we get mutants. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Marcus over here writing scripts.
Right?
Where's my kufi?
Well, I mean, they tried it. They tried it with the Inhumans, and that was a wet fart.
Did
that come out already?
They had a show. They had a show, and it was real bad.
They had a movie. Wasn't it a movie?
No, it was a show.
No, actually, 2 episodes.
That was a show.
Two episodes were in IMAX. 2 episodes were in IMAX, and no, that shit was fucking stupid, man. That
was bad.
I will say though, the one thing that I didn't like, only because I understand how complex Monica's powers are, and I also wish that it didn't have to be her physically being shot by bullets. There
was. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought the same thing. I was like,
they're like, whoa.
Right?
Never mind the fact that that man. I was about to say he's shooting at kids. What kind of?
I know, he was crazy. But
bitch assness was that?
Like that's when he became comically crazy. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Up to that point,
For real though, he was working well within his authority as a government official, trying to get Vision back. Once he started just shooting at kids like an asshole, I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Up until that point, he was a dick. But he was a dick with like, I can kind of understand why he's like real skeptical of all this. But then he started firing the chopper at kids and a black woman.
But like, so Monica thing, I'm gonna come back to it. But my thing is like, what is your end game? You shoot and kill these kids. What do you think Wanda's gonna do to you? Like, is she gonna be like, "You got me, you got me"?
They didn't know how to properly write him into the handcuffs.
No,
so they just fucking just have
Wanda would have put that man's head in his own anus
while he's conscious.
Well, I mean, like speaking of Wanda's powers, it's just clear, and this kind of goes to the final fight, that ever since she was introduced, her powers have been throttled by writing. Like two people, in terms of like my opinion, is the most powerful ones. It's the magic users. It is Doctor Strange and WandaVision. Like they could have gone toe to toe with Thanos by themselves, and that shit would have been over. Like, why wouldn't have Doctor Strange do the same shit he did to Loki and just have like a fucking portal video game situation where he just infinitely drops his ass? You know what I mean?
And snatch the gauntlet off.
Well, Strange.
Real talk. If Captain America is going toe to toe with Thanos,
kind of, yeah.
Scarlet,
well, they made it very. They made
don't underestimate American engineering. All right?
They made it very clear in that moment. Scarlet was about to, or Wanda was about to kill Thanos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thanos had to call the hounds. To
I do
fire
love
them
the fact
shots.
you mentioned that.
Yeah. No, she was gonna kill him.
It was writing that has that's what I'm saying. The writing throttled the full expression. Remember, fucking Doctor Strange was on lifeguard duty during Endgame. Like he's like, Doctor Strange, the dam's broke. We need you to keep the water out the battlefield. Like, what the fuck? No.
Well, no, because I'll say Strange was held back by the fact that he had the gift of sight, and he was like, "This is the only scenario."
Okay, I'll give you that. Like, but still, I'm like, come on, let my boy Doctor Strange do what he got to do. Let him open up that portal.
Also, this wasn't great. This wasn't vanilla Captain America, mind you. This was Captain America who is worthy that was squaring up with Thanos. Okay, put some respect on Steve Rogers' name.
It was Captain America 5 years of therapy. You know, like
exactly
the self-help thing. Like how
5 years
America, I kind of fucked up for everyone.
It was Captain America after he spent some time in the motherland.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably.
he learned the wonders of cocoa butter.
Well, I mean,
he ate some yams and rice and peas.
Right.
Here's the question:
Jollof.
This is a bit of a tangent, I know, but when the battle was over, like, did Captain America just leave? Like, sorry guys, bye. You know, like, come on, Captain America, stick around a little bit. Help him out.
Why? He's given too much to this country.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, to this country, Captain America. What happens in?
That man got frozen for your sins.
Captain America. What happens in 1965? Anything important you want to talk to us about? Anything at all? Anything? You sure? Okay, just gonna let it pan out, huh?
So okay. To end off, I think we can talk about what we think is going to happen. We can make it quick. We'll talk about what we think is going to happen with Wanda and Wanda/Scarlet going forward.
She's just gonna practice and hang out and read her books, read her little Twilight books. Chill out in the mountains, live the quiet life. I mean, she could just snatch a fish out of the water to eat. I mean, she can generate her own light. She needs she wants for nothing.
You're not wrong.
Up in the mountains,
So it's like, yeah, I mean, there's two ways of her just being just kind of neutral going forward as she tries to quell this, almost uncontrollable energy within herself. And, when she comes in during the Doctor Strange movie, hopefully as a somewhat helper, but outside of the Doctor Strange movie, she can totally be an antagonist. Like, she can totally just, like her quest to get her kids back and whatever power that she uses will have ramifications that could, lead the Avengers or the Ultimates, whatever super team comes in by that time, to say, we got to stop this girl.
Yeah.
Because she's clearly she's capable of using her powers for selfish intent, like she just did during this series.
I'm of two minds. I think right now it is more so her curiosity of like reading Darkhold and understanding more about what the quote unquote Scarlet Witch is supposed to be and all this stuff. I think that's one side to it. And I think if it was just that, it would be something where, she's getting stronger, she's understanding this energy, and then maybe that tips off Doctor Strange, like, oh, wait a minute, something's happening. Let me go check this out or whatever. But I think what's going to pull her over into the multiverse of madness, like the madness side, is the fact that we get that last tell of the two kids talking about like, help us, mom, help us. Yeah, like I think that is what's going to be the thing that's going to push her forward to like, I need to use these powers to get my kids back.
But for selfish intent, we can have extreme ramifications.
Right.
I will say, because I'm also of two minds, I think there is a antagonist / villain route for her to go and a teacher hero route for her to go. I think in the villain route, she is reading the Darkhold. The Darkhold is not something that you can read and just come out unscathed. Like that.
You think it's like Mein Kampf?
Well, maybe not that.
Not that type of bug.
Or like watching the Titanic movie.
Yes,
it's a very sinister book that can your mind.
And so she's not going to come out of this unscathed. I think either way, antagonist or teacher hero that she goes, Doctor Strange is aware of what happened in Westview, so he's on the way.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see him meet up with her very soon. Now, I think the villain route that she could possibly go is lose herself to the chaos magic, trying to find a way to bring her kids back. And that could be a very tragic route. On the other hand, I think that there's a very real possibility that things will go somewhat okay with Doctor Strange, and he kind of gets her or helps her reel in her chaos magic and figure things out. And she becomes a mentor to other magicians going forward with what the Strange Academy, which is like Doctor Strange kind of bringing in different mutants and different magicians. What I do think also...
Wait, and he become Professor X?
Not exactly. Because one thing I do want to say is in the comic books, Wanda is behind the House of M, which is a moment in comic books where she wipes out the mutant population on Earth. Now, obviously, that can't happen at least anytime soon because we don't have mutants in the MCU now.
Right.
So what I think they're going to do is remix it so she's the reason why mutants exist. So it's like instead of no more mutants, it's no, more mutants. And it brings...
Here's a weird thing that's happening because we have the Miss Marvel the Miss Marvel series coming out, who was an Inhuman. It's like we'll see if they're going to continue to move forward with the Terrigen Miss.
Right.
You have Miss America coming out, who's an interdimensional type person. So it's like I'm wondering to see how Marvel is able to explain, like there are clear themes of superpowers within the Marvel lore. Like you have the mutant powers, you have the Inhuman powers, you have the interdimensional beings, and you have this fucking magic people. So like trying to bring all that together is gonna be one hell of an endeavor.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they just cut the corner and say the Blip did everything. The Blip done fucked up everyone's powers, or they, I think Marcus, they're probably gonna use the Eternals in that movie to explain.
That's also going to be a big whatever they do with that is also going to be a big clue going forward.
But for right now, we don't know. We can only speculate. And until then, this has been another episode of Press X to Ramble. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed rambling about it. Don't forget to rate and review on your favorite podcasting app. Every little bit counts and helps. If you missed any of this, you can find all the details and more on our website at pressx2start.com. Until next time, we're gonna do a normal cast. You know how it is. All right, yo.
Yeah.
Subscribe and smash that like button, guys.
what he said.